St. Augustine's College has been my life. I love the students. I worked there for 10 years, and then I started feeling that my body, something was happening. I knew then that I was in trouble. Over time, she started to get sicker. She started to lose weight, and I would ask her mom, can we go to the doctor? And she didn't ever want to go to the doctor. So for approximately 6 years, this was our secret. And then I retired. I left there and I went to the doctor. They did some blood work, and before we could get home, we had received a call. Hello? You need me to go to the emergency room right away? Saying that I needed to be rushed to the Duke Raleigh Hospital emergency room.
Miss Williams is coming in. She needs to come straight to the back if you would bring her to room 10 once you get here.
By the time Miss Williams got here, we knew why she was coming, what we needed to do. We were able to bring her back to a room immediately, get her quickly assessed, get her labs and IV started.
They jumped in to do what had to be done, basically to save my life. And I appreciate them so much.
Her blood counts were extremely low, critically low. You can actually lead to a heart attack or a stroke from not being able to deliver enough oxygen to the rest of your body.
And at that point is when they let me know that I was going to have a blood transfusion.
What we were most concerned about was bleeding from her lower GI tract. The hospitalist came down to get her admitted.
While I was in the hospital, Dr. Hopkins came in to introduce himself to me. And he said, I know you're here for your blood transfusion, but there's some decisions that we're going to have to make.
We got the biopsy results back from the scope that they did.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it looks like it is a cancer like what we were thinking. And because of the way that it's growing, we're going to need to do some extra work in order to get this thing out. But I got solutions for you.
This gentle giant, that's my name for him. He took me by my hand. The C word is hard, for a lot of people.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Williams had a locally invasive cancer that, fortunately for her, had not metastasized to her liver or to her lungs, which rectal cancers can do. But it had enlarged and it had grown towards the front, towards the vagina.
I didn't know where we would go from here. Fear showed up, but he calmed me so much. He calmed my nerves.
That's a lot of scary information, and I know you're really worried, but you've got a great team behind you, and we're gonna get you through this.
He said, and I'm gonna be here with you and for you, and so just trust me. And I said to him, I do. And I just needed some time to digest it all, to get it all wrapped around me, to see what am I gonna do next. I was so happy when she decided to go get treatment. It was a big weight lifted off of me. We went on back to the hospital for the appointment, and that's when Dr. Hopkins told us what the steps were gonna be. I had to go see Dr. Agarwal, the oncologist, and I saw his PA first, and she talked to me.
All right, so now that we've gone over this, let me go grab Dr. Agarwal and we'll go into more details about things.
I don't think I want to see him today. I've really heard it enough. I don't want to hear it again today.
I'm sorry, I know this is information overload.
She went to tell him that I wanted to go home, and in walks Dr. Agarwal.
She was shaken. The first instinct many of us have at that time is to run away from it and hope that it just goes away. Our job at that time was really to support her, help her, give her an idea that there is a good team that will pull together for her, that she won't be alone in this process. I know you've had a rough day.
I really just want to go home.
And it's a lot to take in one day. But I hope to God that you realize that it's still at a stage where we could do something about it. It's just possible that we have a shot at a cure.
Now I'm not even crying because I'm afraid. I'm crying because I feel like God has sent me angels, and they're going to walk me through this, and I'm going to be okay.
You're special.
You are too. You don't know how much I appreciate it.
It is a journey. It was essential that there was a complex sequence of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, another surgery, and then more chemotherapy that had to happen.
Dr. Hopkins told me the first thing we have to do is try to get rid of this incontinence. So we went into surgery. to have an ostomy bag, which is irreversible.
What I do is life-altering to the patient in a certain extent. Luckily, the wound ostomy care nurses here at this hospital are fantastic.
An ostomy is a surgically created opening in the skin. This was going to make it easier for her to be able to take care of her bowels. When I met her, I could see the fighter in her, but I also saw that she had lost a little faith. And so the first meeting with Miss Williams was, it was heartbreaking and it was tough.
I struggled so hard with that bag because I was gonna have to learn how to handle it.
Okay, Miss Cynthia, are you ready to try this today? She was getting ready to go home and she had not yet changed her own pouch.
I can't do it today.
You can do it.
I really can't. I can't do it. I'm not ready.
I said, you know what, you take your time. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do this again.
And she came in with the same loving spirit that my gentle giant had, and she let me cry. She never stopped teaching me. She showed me how I could be strong and I could do it for myself.
It was tough, but she did it. Everybody's here to work together. We're here for our patients.
After the ostomy bag, I went into radiation and chemo. I had so many reservations about radiation because of where the cancer is located, my privacy.
We always think about the patient being number one, so we always keep the patient as comfortable as possible.
And I'm gonna keep you covered and warm.
This is a very targeted linear accelerator. We're able to destroy the tumor and yet spare normal tissue. With 28 treatments, we were able to reduce the size of the tumor that Ms. Williams had.
The radiation is done, and so now I have another 4 months to heal and to get myself back together for the next step. And anxiety is back. Bigger than ever, bigger than life itself. This was going to entail 3 surgeons to remove the tumor, a full hysterectomy, and then plastic surgery because the cancer had eaten a hole through the wall between my uterus and my rectum, and that had to be repaired.
We knew it was going to be a long day. Dr. Monica Jones will be there. She's with gynecology, oncology. And then Dr. Sanjay Dalyavoy is a plastic surgeon who specializes in reconstruction.
This is Miss Cynthia Williams, do a prostatectomy or posterior vaginectomy.
When you have a good team with you, with the nurses that are in the room and the anesthesiologists that are helping you out, you don't really notice that the time has gone by because you're concentrating so hard.
Surgery was supposed to be 6 to 8 hours. It ended up being 13 hours. You start to get a little worried.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, we want to make sure that we get everything out. If we leave any cancer cells behind, then we're not doing our job. After Dr. Dalyavoy to throw in the last stitch and everything looked so perfect, and it just made you feel really good to know that you'd done a good job that day.
We waited until they got her in a room and so that we could lay our eyes on her. I was so relieved. The doctors, the nurses, the dietary workers, they were all wonderful. How gentle they were with her, how caring, how just loving.
I would give them an A+ if I could give it to them. When they come in the room, they reach for me. If it's a smile, if it's a hug, or if they take my hand, they reach for me. And that means the world to me because I need somebody to take me by my hand. They don't know how many times they saved my life.
We did a CAT scan after the surgery was all done. This is the area where they did the operation.
Right.
And there's no spots anywhere. It's all clear. No evidence of metastasis in the chest, abdomen, and pelvis. No evidence of cancer either in any place.
God, I thank you. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
He was like, the CT scan is all clear. And I put my face in my hand and I cried, God, I thank you. When he came and he hugged me and he said, say it as loud as you want to say it. Who does that? He is just great. I can't call him my gentle giant because I've given that name to Dr. Hopkins, but he is when it comes to his bedside manner and his mannerisms and how he feels about his patients.
That we are all human and we are real. There has to be at some point a human-to-human connection. We are the support team that makes sure that they get to the winning point.
Dr. Agarwal wants to make sure that we don't have any reoccurrence of the cancer. So I'm on a 6-month regimen for chemotherapy, and it's been going very well. At the end of this journey, I want to be back to where I started. And with the help of the people at Duke Raleigh Hospital, that's where I'll be. I'll be full and whole again.